good. We're having all the fun technical challenges that are coming with today. Thanks, Cece, and thanks everybody for being so patient and helpful. So we have a really interesting topic today that we hope you're exceedingly inspired by. It's going to include a little bit of an exploration of, I'm going to say, an inner meditation. But to begin with, we want to just touch on the topic of the nature of movement and rest. And what we're going to be looking at together collectively, and we know usually that the live and learns are Eric and I speaking and you guys listening, and there's a little bit of interaction. Today, we want you to be as active in the chat as you feel as things come up, because we're investigating, and we're investigating something that in some ways might be one of the more complex part of our humanness and our body being. So movement into thinking and movement into the dissolving of otherness can be perplexing and a little challenging to distinguish at first. And again, the context of this conversation is all specifically as it relates to a reconnective healing experience. Nothing in the discussion today should be considered, a rule of law or physics. We're really exploring the nature of movement and rest in relation to the reconnective healing experience. So let's sort of center ourselves in that way. The other thing we want to present as a truth is existing as presence isn't something we create. Presence isn't something we actually create. Your infinite presence, our infinite presence, has always, always been there. It is the is of self-aware versus the activity of being aware. So just take a moment to digest that in a thinking way, and then we want to release it as well. So Eric's going to repeat that because my words tend to kind of run together.
Well, really, your isness. It is the is of being self-aware, okay, versus the activity of being aware. And we're going to discover or play with being in greater awareness of our isness.
So the first thing we want to deposit, maybe is the way to think of it, is that thoughts audition for our attention. Even now, you're all tuning in, you're listening. Thoughts are what ultimately are the natural coming about of the mind, and they vie for attention.
They're all jumping around and dancing in the stage of our cognizant minds going da-da-da-da-da-da, call on me.
Yeah, and memories, and really the deepest form of feeling, pain, pleasure. Thoughts are consistently running. So if we step into the idea that, or the statement that sometimes we hear, sometimes we have even used, I am not my thoughts. I don't really exist. At the cognitive face value, that really doesn't work for most of us in understanding. As seekers, we need to recognize that there is a difference between what I think I heard Muji say, a great discovery and a strong teaching. And I want you to kind of reflect. Many of you, again, are professional therapists. You're in physics, you're engineers. You come from very strong backgrounds where discovery and creativity is an integral part of your daily life. And yeah.
So the question that then pops up in our minds, or in our minds, can be, how can we recognize the difference between the movement of thinking versus the movement of being aware that you are aware?
And let's even say that again. How might we recognize the movement of thinking versus the movement of being aware that you are aware? Interesting, huh? So we would suggest that the reconnective healing experience is a portal for this recognition, even without cognitive knowledge.
Especially without cognitive knowledge.
Okay, you have to elaborate on that.
Well, because what happens is, with the reconnective healing frequencies, the experience of the energy, light, and information, our thinking, well, for some of us, if we're really trying to follow it with our minds, sort of begins to disappear, but in actuality, it just disappears.
Eventually, the reconnective healing experience reveals what I like to think of it as a very natural experiential recognition, and then a natural confidence that accompanies it. So this is something that, for those of you who have had a reconnective healing experience or have been exploring um, this relationship of receiving energy, light, and information, the natural recognition appears and a natural confidence unfolds. And usually that isn't happening through cognitive understanding. It isn't happening because you're learning it. Quite the opposite. So movement into thinking is unconsciously our embodied habit of attention at work. Yeah, it's the working unconscious embodied habit. But please recognize that even our dear friends who study the neuroscience of mind so intricately will tell you it's not something that you're doing. It is happening. Thinking is just happening. So I'm going to suggest that and you've heard me say these over the last few conversations, it takes a lot of energy to be a person. What do we mean when we say that? It takes a lot of energy to be a person, and yet not to be the true self. That doesn't require a lot of energy. So the I am.
Well, would we look at that as being a person is really being this earthly expression of the essence of the truth of who we are, and who we are is at ease?
So I would say it's the finite identity,
right,
is really a lot of work. I mean, think about one's own life, and I don't mean that in a negative way. You know, the idea of evolving and unfolding, and for many of you, your parents, your fathers, your mothers, your sisters, your brothers, your teachers, this personage that we are experiencing, and again, in reconnective healing experience, we would say it's energy, light, and information experiencing itself as each of us. Very important. But the I am the body idea is sometimes so strong that perhaps let's acknowledge and suggest that the managing the movement of thoughts is worthy of a word or two. And I'm going to speak a little bit into something that I really loved that was spoken to me, which is let thoughts be. How about allowing them to just happen? Because that is what they do. While I am, remain a detached witness. In other words, if we think of our movement in the world of something so familiar to us, technology, we choose whether we're going to log in to information, right? We choose. Are we going to log into our computers? Are we going to log in to an account? Are we going to log in even in addition to that, we choose if we're going to subscribe.
Right.
I mean, so these are thinking choices. And when we don't log in or subscribe, we sort of rest in a place as that detached witness in a way. So the thoughts can come and go. There's almost no need to get caught up in the traffic of them. Nothing requires us other than habit, memory, and ego to feel the need to log in to thinking.
With our name and our password. Or to subscribe and become a frequent user and a content consumer, which really is us tending to lock into that particular interplay or relationship with those thoughts. It takes away our fluidity, because our fluidity occurs on a level other than that of the thinking mind at that level of attention.
So we can investigate the nature of habit and conditioning. And we do that a lot. We do that through intention. We do that through mind to matter. We investigate the nature of habit and conditioning, even when we're not cognizantly investigating it. And a lot of our neuroscience colleagues really, again, spend a lot of time exploring the nature of breaking the habit of being yourself. Joe's book is just incredible. It is that nature that is always available.
But what precedes that habit? That's the question.
Well, the reconnective healing experience is that question. Can we investigate that precedes the nature of habit and conditioning? There is something already here prior to thinking. And this is where the reconnective healing experience becomes very profound. It is an investigation on what precedes habit and conditioning, memories, thoughts, feelings, emotions, even experience itself. And I think what we'd love to do for a few minutes is move through an experience, maybe you might think of it as a meditation, that allows us to explore that something that is already here prior to thinking. Yes?
I think so.
Okay. So for the purpose of the next few minutes, we'd love you to just put your pens down if you're writing with something, or your phones. Be a little comfortable in your sitting space, because we're going to close our eyes.
But wait, we're going to do something pre-meditation. We're going to say, Gina, hi, YouTubers.
This is the moment.
Thank you for joining us. And we hope you come join us more over on this side of YouTube, so that you can participate in some of these meditations and exercises and other fun things that we do.
And just avail yourself to our beautiful Reconnective Healing community. They're a great group of friends, and there's a lot of interaction. So come visit us. And for now, goodbye.
Let's see you real soon.
So, are you comfortable sitting? We're going to close our eyes. And as you close your eyes, just in that first activity of closing the eyes, pay attention to both thoughts and sensation. You might even open your eyes again and then close them again. But pay attention to both your thoughts and sensations.
And pay attention to
Hey there, family. Dr. Eric and Jillian here.
Welcome, everyone.
And we're very excited about Reconnective Life, our first online global community. This is the most exciting way we've been able to get together since I founded the Reconnection. is to be a place where we can do things together. We'll move into breakout rooms at times when that's appropriate. We'll have energy interactions and meditations and exercises. In other words, expect things you haven't seen before.
You are so charged.
Things we
He is so lit about every new way we get to be together every day. Just be together. Let us just speak a little bit about what is going to be the shape of this community.
In this community, we can share and discover more. Here we can talk to each other, we can chat, we can learn from and about one another. Jillian, me, our life leaders, and you will be in daily conversation with you. Weekly, we will have Facebook Lives.
We will be with you every Wednesday. Sometimes it'll be just Eric. On occasion, it might just be me. Sometimes it'll be the two of us. It's all about giving you a way to look at the week living in the frequencies.
And in every fourth week, we will include a live Q&A, so we can talk about the things that have been coming up for us, discuss back and forth, share, grow, expand together.
And the ever-growing library of content that has been created over 20 years that will be on demand for you. It will be on-demand content for you to view, enjoy, share again with your inner circle.
And monthly, we are going to have live Zoom retreats. We're going to bring in some exercises and experiences and things that previously we've reserved for our physical retreats, you know, when we were in the different location resorts and things, and we're modifying them so that we can work with these with you in your home, in your living room, in your den.
Put into the chat line, what is facility?
We're having these weekly Zoom in-depth Q&As.
Finally, they have a place and space to just define what does that really mean living in the frequencies.
This is something that is in all of us.
Everyone can do this.
It doesn't matter how many levels you've gone through or how well you know the programs. It's a community that allows us to recognize how interrelated we all are as receivers of energy, light, and information.
See you there.
Reconnective Life, living in the frequencies every day.